The Chapel of Saint Casimir is a chapel dedicated to Saint Casimir in Vilnius Cathedral. The chapel was built in 1623–36 after Prince Casimir was canonized as saint. It was built and decorated in the Baroque style by Italian sculptors and architects commissioned by Sigismund III Vasa, King of Poland and Grand Duke of Lithuania. The centerpiece of the chapel is faux marble altar which holds the silver sarcophagus with Casimir's remains and the painting Three-Handed Street. Casimir. History. Architecture. Altar. Murals. The chapel has two expressive murals by Florentine artist Michelangelo Palloni completed during the restoration works in 1692. The opening of the coffin of St. Casimir measures 285 by 402 centimeters and decorates the east wall. It depicts the opening of St. Casimir's coffin on August 16, 1604 during his canonization proceedings. The body in the coffin was found intact 120 years after the burial. The saint is wearing a long red robe, decorated with stoked fur and a ducal crown. Bishop Benedictine, who wrote Aroma, a wonderful smell after the lid was lifted, has his hands raised to heaven in praise of the Lord. Kneeling at the head of the saint is Gregorius Wysocki, the canon at Vilnius Cathedral chapter, who was entrusted with Casimir's canonization process. Jan Kazimierz Sapieha, who commissioned the painting, stands on the right. Virgin Mary and St. Peter, dressed in clothes of the time, stand on the left. Around them are priests with long candles in the hands. Resurrection of Ursula measures 295 by 402 centimeters and decorates the west wall. It depicts the first known miracle of Saint Casimir. After the death of a young girl Ursula, her father went to the coffin of the prince to pray for her and the girl miraculously resurrected. The artist skillfully depicts surprise and astonishment of the father, other relatives, and clergy. Sculptures of rulers. The chapel has 8 sculptures of rulers that stand in marble niches in the 4 corners. At about 2.2 meters in height, the sculptures are taller than life-size. They are carved from wood and plated in silver. They were carved with particular attention to individualized details, attributes of power, clothes, facial details, hand gestures, and poses. The author, date of creation, and identity of the figures are unknown and are subject to speculation by art historians. The chapel originally had 8 pure silver sculptures that measured about 1 meter in height and that were melted during the deluge, but they stood in the main altar. The marble niches were probably created in 1620s or 1630s, but there is no mention that they had any sculptures in them until 1737, when an inventory listed 8 wooden sculptures of kings and emperors. According to Maria Matuzakite, the sculptures are of late Baroque style and should be dated the 2nd quarter of the 18th century. The first claims that the sculptures depict Polish kings were recorded in the 1828 Report of Canonical Visitation and in the 1835 book on Vilnius History by Michel Balinski. This theory of the Jagiellonian kings gained popularity, and in 1878 the names were written in gilded letters on the postaments. Vladislav II Jagiello, Vladislav of Varna, Casimir IV Jagiellon, St. Casimir, John I Albert, Alexander Jagiellon, Sigismund I the Old, and Sigismund II Augustus. At some point, Lithuanian historiography replaced Vladislav of Varna with Vladislav IV Vasa. The writing since has disappeared, but these names are often cited. Not all researchers agree with the traditional identification. Already in 1840, Joseph Ignacy Kraszewski proposed that the sculptures depict royal saints, but the sculptures have no symbols or attributes of sainthood. The sculptures are too detailed and personalized to depict abstract royals or saints. Matuzakite suggested that one of the sculptures depicts Vytautas, Grand Duke of Lithuania, and not Vladislav of Varna or Vladislav Vasa. Mindaugas Panis noted that two sculptures wear imperial crowns and suggested that they depict Casimir's grandfather Albert II of Germany, elected but not crowned king of the Romans, and Frederick III, Holy Roman Emperor, who raised orphaned Casimir's mother. According to Panis, the other 6 sculptures depict Casimir's immediate family: grandfather Vladislav Jagiello, father Casimir, and brothers Vladislaus, John Albert, Alexander, and Sigismund. Gallery.